Welcome back to Life at the Outpost. And we had a nice run of wins. We had a decent streak going there. I think it was 4 on the trot. And that got abruptly brought to the end by Kieran Foran and the boys from Manly. The
Fosball.
Yeah, Fosball. Fosball, indeed. The Manly hoodoo up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium continues, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it anyway. We don't want to be too negative, but a good run of games there. Dragons game. I think we touched on. Absolutely smashed them the other week, but Broncos was the big one for me last week. The first derby against the Broncos of the year down there in Brisbane, and albeit Broncos unfortunately, missing a fair few players. Geez, it was a game to remember. It was over 60 points. And the way it ended, it shaped up, and it did end up being one of those classic derbies. It went right down to the wire.
Full of drama.
Yep,
high
drama.
Impact, high action.
Yep.
It was good stuff.
Try for try. Stags, going over in the 4th minute with the "This is my house," and unfortunately, he got his house invaded. yeah, exactly. We're not the Dolphins, bruh. Mm-hmm. The boys stood up for it, and you'd probably expect them to get a bigger win, maybe, but Broncos really came out firing. Tom Duffy going to the Broncos there and relishing in his opportunity here with Reynolds sitting out. Tom Duffy filled in and did a miraculous job, much like he did at the start of the season for us last year. He did a job, did quite well, but you can see how that extra year of training, and with a different squad nonetheless, with the Premiers, has benefited him being around.
I think moving outside your own comfort zone to train as well, train and play, has probably benefited him. Yeah, big time.
Big part of that for sure. I mean, it showed, man. Like he
played incredibly well.
Yeah, the thing that gave me, not surprised me, but gave me the most excitement for him as a player was seeing him slot that field goal right toward the end there. Mind you, it was responded to with another one from Drinkwater, which everyone was in much dismay to see such a silky return fire.
I just think the confidence he has is
exactly right. That's
awesome.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly right. And in again, a squad that they're missing a few players due to injury and whatnot. He stood up very well. Cowboys, but I think they really dominated the first half an hour. After about 20 minutes, the following half an hour, they really dominated, kept on top of them. But it was still rather tit for tat, but they just started to waver a bit, maybe a little bit of fatigue or something setting in there. They started to lose that control and dominance on top of the Broncos there, or of the Broncos. But right at the end, bringing it back. We saw Chester. I think Chester had a great game, but I think that try from Chester in the 64th minute was really what kicked it off and gave him that confidence again.
Well, see, I was going to say as well, I think that the Tulty try, I feel like they got a little too comfortable after the Tulty try.
They thought
a little forward, didn't it? Maybe we're chilling then.
Yep.
Not quite.
Yep.
Quite.
Yep.
I think we had more to say, and Chester burnt them.
Yeah.
Burnt them when he went around him on the right there. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was a great try from Tommy Chester there.
Yep.
The kill shot was a very good one too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do like the confidence that Duffy had when he went for that field goal.
Yeah.
To go for that field goal as well.
Yep.
But I think it may not have been the best time to go for it with so much time left, because it basically just gifted us infinite possession straight away.
Yeah. Time to return fire.
Time to return the fire, that's right. And it probably put them under a lot of pressure having that extra set, time for the extra set there as well.
Yep.
But I think otherwise, Tom Duffy had a fantastic game, and he probably could have taken the sword to us, I think.
Yep.
We were very lucky in the end there, but I thought it was a fantastic showing from both teams.
Yeah, definitely. That last final try, Lukey going over. I mean, Drinky slotting a great field goal there to tie it up, but right at the end, I think it was the final 2 minutes, where they expected him to go for one more to try and one up with another point, but swung it far out left there, right out to the edge, and saw Lukey go over and tie the bow, present it nicely for the boys to get the win there. Not without controversy, though. There usually is always something, right? But the disruptor call, which, mind you, and you're upset if you're a Broncos fan, very obviously and justifiably, but mind you, went both ways. We both got dudded, but saw the Broncos have a try disallowed for a rather, confusing and questionable disruptor call. The Drinkwater one, where he went up and contested. Every day of the week it was a contest. He turned his face away at the last second to brace for impact, so he didn't cop a smash in the face or something, and that was deemed to be a disruptor, and he was no longer contesting the kick or trying to catch it, apparently. But then the other one down the other end was Shibasaki, I believe. He was contesting, was chasing, and then pulled out with, maybe a couple meters to go. Chester went up and dropped the ball cold. Butterfinger's Chester there, but they ruled it. I don't know, maybe as a square up or something. I don't know, but they ruled that or deemed that to be a disruptor as well, because he was contesting and then pulled out. He stopped or something.
I think if you're a fan of the NRL, you were pretty upset with this game in particular.
Just for that, yeah.
Like the disruptors was one thing, but like with all the other forward passes and offsides to compound it as well, it was a pretty rough game. But I think the disruptor calls are probably the one thing you want to focus on, because
stole the spotlight, which is unfortunate.
It's just such it is a demonic rule. It is so bad. It's just bad for the game. It's bad.
We see it every year. There's something, or there's a handful of things they focus on, and there's a crackdown as such on. But I like the fast-paced game. The fast-paced game is cool. Yeah,
don't mind it at all.
Yep.
But rules like the disruptor rule hinder it greatly.
It's too much of a grey area in that it gets utilised, or it turns the game on its that match in particular. You hear it, you see a bungle.
The game's going so fast.
Yeah, turns the game on its head. Yeah,
yeah. I just feel like to base very important calls on mere slightly turn of the heads.
Yeah,
it's bad for the game.
There's got to, it is. It's whether it's being a directive that's come down to the refs, because when it first came in a year or two ago, it was annoying, but everyone seemed to at least have a bit of an idea on it. And then even at the start of the season,
no one can tell you.
Yeah, going up, as long as you went up with two hands, you could pull out of it and it was okay. And now, seemingly, if you're contending but you pull out a meter away, you're still a disruptor, or at least that was. But not to shine it too much on that. The boys come away with a good win in that one, which leads us to this week, first game of the round, up against Manly, and the hoodoo up here, just as we said, continues. They just got dominated, and there wasn't anything other than that for the game. It was very average.
It really started out with both teams dominating themselves.
Yeah, drop balls, loose carries.
But then it was just us getting dominated. So.
Yeah. Manly tied it up a bit, or tidied themselves up rather, despite the loss of Turbo. Second half was big for Manly in terms of fixing up anyway. They didn't have a huge second half until toward the end there, but just fixing up those little errors and key points that they were having drama with in the first half.
Whereas we did not.
Yeah, and we did not. We did not go forward with it. The Cowboys looked really tired. They were gassed after maybe 25 minutes or so. You could see a few players there, and the one for me was seeing Drinkwater in the back line, he was bent over, and I thought,
begging for air.
Yeah, I thought, oh no, he's hurt his ribs, or something's gone wrong here. Which it wasn't a big injury if it was one, but that was just a sign of how gassed they were. Cotter was gassed, and when he's rooted, the boys are tired, or fatigue's really well and truly setting in. They just couldn't get ahead of it. Chester, unfortunately, somehow managed to score 40 points on fantasy. I don't know how, but a cacophony of errors for him, unfortunately.
I think it was 7 drop balls.
Yeah. And a lot of good breaks, a lot of good carries and that, but just too many errors. Too many errors and they all compounded. Too many errors to make the most of it. Like, he made an amazing break down the sideline, and I think he got the ball stolen from him in the tackle, and it was like tackle 1 or 2. And yeah, not Chester's fault at all. It was the whole team was on the same page, man. They just could not hold the ball, unfortunately. Could not hold the ball.
Even got a drop one.
Yeah, could not string a full set together, or a solid set together, rather, is probably the way to put that. There was one player I know where I think it was Clifford kicked it, and it touched Saab's hand, and we ended up putting him in goal, I think, something like that. That was probably one of the best attacking players on their goal line outside of the try we got. But yeah, no, nothing else, unfortunately. There just weren't any answers. So hopefully just a week for a reset, maybe, a bit of a downswing week, and hopefully we can bring it back next week. But
I mean, we did also see us still. We had a little bit of trouble with injury as well, or managing the injuries that we do have.
Yep.
I saw Tom Dearden playing 4 different positions in this game.
Yeah, that is a big one to touch on. We didn't really mention it there. The Marnie going down with a concussion last week in the Broncos game, and Sonny Luke coming on and seeing the rest of the game out. This week having to play 80, was sort of forced to play 80 through injury and that, and interchange. And mind you, he did well. He saw the whole game out, but you just you started to see his effectiveness wane, whereas the last couple weeks...
He's definitely not an 80-minute player yet.
Yeah. The last couple of weeks we've seen him come on for Reed. He's been most useful being injected, toward the end of the game, or after 60 minutes or so, 50, 60 minutes. It took it out of him. Took it out of all of them. They were all gassed.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think, there was especially towards the end of the game there, it was, Dearden was having to move away and play hooker.
Yeah, there was a couple of times I saw no one at hooker.
He was defending. I mean? Yeah, there was plenty of times. Yeah,
yeah.
Then half the time, like when Sea Eagles were, I think especially down that last 10 minutes as well. When Eagles were in their last 2-3 tackles of the set, Tommy would have to push out to the wing because he knew that we needed more help on the wing. Like I having to see him still do so much.
Yep.
Sort of does defeat the purpose of why we are playing him in the 7 instead of the 6 in the first place.
Yep.
So we need to find a way to get him back off that.
Yeah, back to focusing
just on 7 duty and just 7 duty. Yeah,
exactly right. It was unfortunate unfortunate result for Drinky's home celebration of his 150th game, which, mind you, was very big for him. It's 150 games for us, for the club, is amazing for a player. He's been stellar since we've got him here. He's played, he's bounced around through the halves and that as well, and he's seen a lot of iterations of the team. To see him sort of come through all that and still be dominating is really huge, I think, for a player. So congratulations to Drinky there. But yeah, it was unfortunate for the celebration for this week's one for him there. We'll jump on and have a look at next week's matchup against the Sharks. So it is at home again. Hopefully a week at home is what the boys need. And it's, Sharks are, we talk about it all the time. They're a team that should be up there contending with the top 4 consistently, but they just have a couple down weeks or random weeks where they just, I don't know, they can't seem to go with whoever they're playing, or they drop off. They just die in the arse. So I'm hoping that does benefit us, and we can make the most of that there. We will see return of players, though. Like you said, through injury, we had dramas. Muzz was out this week due to a concussion. Same as Marnie. So Marnie, they both should be back next week.
Is Nanai back this week as well?
I think he may be closer to round 10 or 11, maybe.
Back out.
From what I knew of anyway, I think it's a fair few in. But I think Lukey's been great on the edge there, but also McIntyre's
been great,
been quite solid. He's come back from that ankle injury I think he had. They were struggling this week, unfortunately. So I think hopefully a week at home should be enough to see them, revitalised in that up against the Sharks, and I think the boys can get it done. Well, I know we always tip them, but I think the boys can get it done.
I think they can in this one. I mean, I think with the Sharks, if you can weather the storm that comes from the first 30 minutes, you've got a pretty good chance against them. I feel like,
and you can fire some shots back,
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even really that they're a first half team, but they're a first half of each half team, really, I find.
Yep.
So you get through that first 30 minutes of the game.
Yep.
And you get through the first 10, 20 minutes of the second half.
Yep.
You can probably coast them out, but
Yep.
This is definitely one where they want to bounce back from this week.
Yeah,
sure.
I think so. They definitely need to get into training, rehab, whatever, and
full squad back nearly.
Yeah,
get into your work.
Yep, yeah. Keep the heads up, and like you said, weather the storm through them there. But Sharks coming off a bye is the one thing too. They will be fresh and will be ready. But yeah, I think the boys, if they can take it to them. Show us a bit of what they have the last couple of weeks, going up against teams where they did put the foot on the throat and didn't go away. Against Melbourne especially, bring back a bit of that. We've got a good chance. I guess the only real big news in Cowboys camp is the Drinkwater news. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was probably 2 weeks ago now, it sort of broke where there were rumours he was looking for an exit or talking to other clubs, talking to the Dragons, which he's signed until 2027. But it has come out since that his management broke that the Cowboys were giving him permission to speak to other clubs or at least test his value on the open market. But we found out last week after the Broncos game in the press conference that it was actually his management had gone to the club and asked if they could, and Cowboys didn't want to stand in the way of that. Coinciding with the other big news of locking Jackson Purdue down till 2030, I believe. Big deal for him, keeping a star prospect there. I just hope it's not at the cost of another really big star prospect. You're expecting to lose some players to things like that, especially when players are getting signed to big contracts, but yeah, it'd be very, very unfortunate to see Drinkwater go. As hot and cold as he can be, and as fickle as fans can be as well, I don't know. I'm feeling it's going to be another couple years of pain if we lose someone solid, our first grade fullback. If we lose him, I don't know.
It's just another rebuild process.
It basically is, yeah. And you're wanting to keep, Tommy here, which I don't think he'll go. We've got Purdue there. We want to keep Clifford now as well. Clifford's another one that's pretty instrumental. You lose Drinkwater and it's not all for naught, but you might as well say it is. Oh, yeah, like you said, we're back in a rebuild. Rumour is going to the Dragons, or at least talking to the Dragons, linked to a really big contract for 3 years, so a secure one, which you wouldn't begrudge him for taking. But
I mean, he'd be going back down.
Back toward home.
Yeah. He'd be going to hang out with Val.
Yep.
Focus more on the business side of things with Players Club.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's a lot for him down there, so it doesn't shock me that it's the Dragons that are the ones that are touted for it.
Yep.
I just really hope it isn't.
Yeah.
I hope he stays. Whether that means he takes unders, whether that means a few people take unders. I mean, Clifford's already come out and said that he'd be happy to take unders.
Yep.
Just got to hope for some of that.
Yeah, exactly right.
Do what you can to keep the boys together.
Yeah, and I mean, when we first heard of it with Robson, we thought Val even, but going back to Val, you think no, he's a son of the North, he'll stay. But yeah, you can't begrudge him. They're
end of the day, it's a business.
It is. It's a business, and it's also a career. They got to look after their family and that. But we all know Drinkwater loves it up here. He's made this club his own, and he's done very well. We just hope he stays. I hope we find a way to keep him. But yeah, moving on to Purdue. Very, very great news signing him, locking him down till 2030. Another NQ local. We've got a good crop of them up here that are doing really well and have been the last couple of years. Another one to stay there. What his future looks like, we don't know just yet. But killing it at centre, able to slot in at fullback if need be in a pinch, and
you could probably comfortably put him anywhere but the front row, really.
Yeah, exactly. And
later on, be able to get a job done.
Later on down the line, sounds like he may even move into the halves or something. But yeah, killer player. Stoked we got to lock him down. We just have a handful more now. We need to get Murray. Talangi's another one we want to lock down. Clifford, we need to get Clifford inked. Yeah, and Drinkwater being that other one, hopefully. That's probably about it. There isn't anything too big outside of that to talk about, I think, for the Cowboys. We're changing up how we do this. You probably notice it sort of worked out that the first game was our game on Thursday night. We'll be doing these on Fridays from now on. So
early bird gets the worm.
Yeah, and we'll get a bit more chance to talk about the prior games and stuff like that. So. With that, though, we might get into it and start watching tonight's games now, see how the Raiders are going.
Heard it's good.
Yeah, yep. So with that, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers.